Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Following a sold-out run at ART, the new critically acclaimed production of Tennessee Williams' The Glass Menagerie is coming to Broadway's Booth Theater, where it will open on September 26th. It welcomes back to Broadway Tony and Emmy Award winner Cherry Jones, along with Zachary Quinto, Celia Keenan-Bolger, and Brian J. Smith, under the direction of Tony Award winner John Tiffany. And I caught up with the company during a break in rehearsal. John, talk about what attracted you to want to do Glass Menagerie and this cast.
It's always been my favourite play, and I've always really directed new plays, and so I never thought that me and it would meet. And then I was a Radcliffe Fellow at Harvard University for a year in 2010, and I was speaking to the Diane Paulus and Keenan-Bolger at ART, and we were talking about me doing a show there. And I happened to meet, by coincidence, an actress called Cherry Jones. One lunchtime, she was a friend of one of the other fellows, and Cherry had just been in Tennessee clearing out her parents' house, and she was talking about these letters that she'd found that her mother had written, and she started speaking in this voice. And I was like, is that Amanda Wingfield I hear? But then it took a while. You should ask Cherry about it. It took a while for Cherry to agree to do it. She thought she never wanted to play that part, and I kind of bullied her into it.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too. So then we gathered an amazing cast together. Zach Quinto, who's absolutely fantastic, who I've been a big fan of for years, and set to work in January up in Cambridge, and it seemed to go well.
Let's talk about your concept with this production.
Well, it's not really. I think it's Tennessee Williams' concept, but what's interesting is a lot of people have said that we've stripped it right back and that it's very, very bare, it's very minimal. You know, we only have one unicorn, which is part of the menagerie and everything. But I think that that's trying to be true to what Tennessee Williams imagined himself in the introduction to the Glass Menagerie, what he calls like plastic theatre, his philosophy about plastic theatre, where he says, you know, above everything else, you should avoid naturalism. You know, especially with this play, it's a memory play. You know, Tom comes on stage and he says that, you know, I'm going to take you back in time. This is not real. This is a memory play, and so I don't think it's my concept. I think it's Tennessee's concept that we're doing him, you know, doing justice to him. I hope.
John Tiffany popped into my life via a friend from another world. She has nothing to do with the theater, and she introduced us. And he took one look at me, and I was his Amanda, and I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not your Amanda. I'll be your something else, but I'm not going to be your Amanda." And then he hog-tied me into doing a reading of it, and then I was a goner. I could not believe the beauty and the power of the play. And if you had told me that I would enjoy performing this more than any role I've ever performed in my life, I would not have believed you. But there's a reason why people have always called it an American masterpiece, and Amanda Wingfield one of the great American roles for women. And at almost 57, to have, you know, I understand why for Lorette Taylor it was the woman, for those of you who don't know, the woman who originated the role, who had come out of 10 years of extreme alcoholism, and she was resurrected by this play, and it would bring Lazarus back from the dead getting to work on this. And this production, Richard, is so, it is the single, it's the most beautifully realized and exquisite production I've ever had the privilege of working on in 30 years of theater. And John Tiffany and Tennessee Williams together, I only wish they'd known each other. And every night at the end of this production, it feels so current, so contemporary, that we all, the four of us, have gotten exceptionally close, and we always think, where's Tennessee? We want to go buy him a drink.
He's here in spirit, though.
He is here in spirit, because this production you know, it blows away all the cobwebs, all those things that Tennessee at this point would have been so embarrassed to have some of them still in the play. The picture of the father and the subtitles and the, you know, all that stuff that's unnecessary and just takes you out of the play. He loved expressionism. This is not a radical production at all. It just gets the weeds out of the way, and you're dealing with this, and not with props.
Well, I'm sure it freed you all up as actors.
So much. I mean, there were, you know, we joke that unless a prop is mentioned more than twice, it doesn't make the cut, you know, because when you're sitting at it, when you're remembering being with your family at a table, you're not remembering the green peas and which cutlery was used that year in your family home. It's this. This is what you're dealing with, you know, and so the emotional impact of this production, I think, is stronger for that.
What it was like working on this up at ART.
It was a really special experience that we had together up in Boston. I mean, it was sort of away from the hustle and bustle of New York, and you know, after the show we'd get together, we'd have Indian food, and we'd all drink a toast to Tennessee, and just got to really enjoy each other's company and sort of create this piece in a very open, experimental, no pressure sort of way. And this amazing, light, beautiful, moving piece of theater came out of it that I actually think wouldn't have been possible anywhere else. So it was, Boston was a really great incubator for the production that we're bringing to New York. I think we're very grateful for the time that we had there.
Talk about the play. You loved this play before you started this, right? Talk about the role.
Well, I have to say, I studied the play when I was in high school. I think we had to, and I liked the play, but I wasn't as enthusiastic about it as John Tiffany was, and he has this infectious, almost overwhelming passion for this story, and he definitely infected us with it. And that's been an amazing experience for me, is to have this boy from Yorkshire tell this, you know, this guy from the American South what an amazing American classic that we're sitting on. And to get to be able to tell the story with his vision of it has been just really, really exciting.
Talk about the role.
You know, Jim is such a lovely, lovely, lovely character to play. I actually went back last night and the night before last and started getting in the process of relearning the lines, and I was amazed at how fun and easy these words are to say, and how you rarely get this. Like there's no sense of dread. There's usually like one moment in every role that you play that you kind of dread, or you sort of like buck up against. You don't know what the heck's going on. There's none of that here. It's that scene with him and Laura is one of the most brilliantly written pieces of dramatic literature that we have, and to get to be able to do that every night on Broadway with Celia is, God, I can't believe it.
Tell me what it's been like working on this.
It's been a really, truly amazing experience. Starting it in Boston, where it was just it was just us there. We didn't go back to our families at the end of the day. We really built, I think, our own little family while we were in Boston. And then to have this time off and get to come back to it. And I've never done a play or a musical where it didn't change the next time you came to it. So I've only done new things, so the next time you did it, the script was different or something was different. And this, it's like that foundation is still there, and we get to just dig a little bit deeper.
Talk about working with John Tiffany.
John Tiffany is the whole reason that I even auditioned for this play, because I saw Blackwatch at St. Anne's, and I saw Once, and I thought, I will do anything to work with that man. He represents something that I really believe in, that for the theater, and I have never worked with a director who had such enormous trust. He trusts every person that he collaborates with, from the designers to the stage management to the actors, and I think that's a really exceptional quality to have as a director.
Talk about this role. She's so delicate. Did you know the play well before you started?
You know, I read the play in high school, and it wasn't my favorite. I was like, I'm like from Detroit. I've come from a pretty healthy family. Like, I don't know what this doesn't really resonate with me. And then rereading it for the audition, I felt so connected to it. And I think Laura is someone who's very different from myself, which is always sort of exciting to get to play. And I think in the best way that I felt a lot of expectation about who these characters should be. And John was great with all of us about sort of alleviating us of that pressure and saying, like, we need to build something that we all believe in, and that we're not trying to do the version of the Glass Menagerie that we think is expected of us.
Let's talk about working with the cast.
It was this is such an amazing group of actors, and to get to build it with them and then to get to do it with them night after night, I feel like incredibly lucky. They're extraordinary artists, every single one of them.
To work at a place like the ART where the focus on creative integrity and creative pursuit is so clear and specific, it was such a gift, and I'm thrilled mostly that we had that opportunity to work on the play for the play's sake, and now bring it into a commercial environment and share it with a larger audience and be a part of the Broadway community, but with all of that history. I've never done that before. I've never worked on a play for any amount of time and then gone away from it for 5 months, you know. So a lot of life has happened to each of us, and I think we're all very excited to bring our experiences together again and reapproach the work.
Talk about the play itself. Did you know the play really well and the role?
Do I know the play?
Did you know the play really well? Yeah, did you know it?
No. I mean, I knew The Glass Menagerie. Of course, I had read it and had seen it, but I didn't know it well. I didn't have the kind of connection to it, obviously, that I do now. And I'm actually really grateful for that. I'm very grateful that my experience of this play is really filtered through John and Cherry and Celia and Brian and my appreciation for Tennessee and my connection to him, I think, is much deeper and more distilled than it would have been had I come in with a whole history of knowledge and familiarity with this masterpiece. I mean, I really think that this is his masterpiece, and the play that he spent the rest of his career trying to live up to in himself, you know. It's the play that made him internationally renowned, and then, of course, he went on to write Streetcar and so many other incredible plays for decades afterwards. But I think in his own experience, this is the clearest version of his own story, and Tom is the clearest distillation of himself, the most autobiographical character in his whole body of work. So for me, it's an extra gift and an extra responsibility. But I feel like Tennessee has been a part of our journey so far, and I hope he's come back to join us for the next phase.
Just talk about the cast.
I mean, these people, unbelievable. Cherry was the reason that I signed on to do it in the first place, and John, of course, and then Celia, who I'd known for years through mutual friends. I was absolutely beside myself when she signed on, and found out we get to have our dressing rooms right next to each other at the booth, which is really exciting. And Brian is just such a phenomenal actor who brings such I think unexpected depth and complexity to this character that people think that they know, the gentleman caller. And Brian's work for me in this is really profound and special, and I just can't wait to watch everybody work again and to dive back into it.